Hey, you want to see something weird? Now with that out of the way, even if you hate everything else about this video, you can walk away from it saying, you know what? At least I did see something disturbing. I wasn't misled. As advertised, I saw some weird shit. But nothing is weirder than the topics we cover on the Red Thread. I just wanted to make this video talking about this show because I have so much fun doing it. It's a show that myself, Jackson, and Windigoon do every couple of weeks. It's a show all about doing a thorough deep dive into cryptids, cold cases, conspiracies, and cults. The entire kit and caboodle. No stone left unturned, and under each stone, it's three absolute fucking idiots examining all of it and just giving this comprehensive breakdown of everything as well as a timeline for most of it on what exactly it's all about and our thoughts on it from the perspective of three smooth brain morons. And it is so much fucking fun. I have such a great time with the Red Thread. So I just wanted to put this highlight video together for any of you that haven't watched it. I recommend checking it out. So I just wanted to put this out here. That's really about it. Here's the montage.
Would you like me guys to start with the story?
Oh, please.
Yeah.
As is tradition now.
That was a really interesting way of asking that question. Would you like me guys to start with a story? It's like a pirate.
Arr. Would you mateys like a tail?
How about a shanty?
Already fucked it up. Brilliant.
I want the audience to know, like, if they thought, like, the last couple episodes were intense with research, I want you to know that Jackson put together a 24-page docket about Heaven's Gate. Which,
this one's very thorough.
Yeah.
There is so much here, boys. There is literally so much history in Heaven's Gate. 22 years of events and manipulations and cult teachings and stuff like that I felt were too important to leave out. It's just, I mean, when you think about it, 22 years summed up in 24 pages, that's not bad. That's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
I wanted to take this, before we actually get into, Heaven's Gate and all the events that surround it, I wanted to thank the audience, really, because these last few weeks of Red Thread have been absolutely beyond belief. We charted on the Spotify charts at number 2, I believe is the highest we got, which is just incredible. So thank you all very much for that. I'm sure the boys echo my sentiments here.
I'm still in disbelief by it. It's overall, like, of all genres, number 2 in the United States. The only person ahead of us was Joe Rogan. That's insane.
I mean, yeah.
Like, just a hair too.
Insane.
We were biting at his heels.
Yeah.
I feel like there's something. There might be a conspiracy of Spotify's own making there. I believe that they've just planted him at the top because they paid him $200 million of exclusivity and they wanted to make it look good. Maybe that's a topic for a future episode.
Well, if they give us $201 million of exclusivity, we'll be their number 2 plant. So,
yeah,
well, yeah. I'll take it.
I'll let that happen for $200 million.
It's such an obscene amount of money. There's no way that they made their money back on the Joe Rogan
thing.
Absolutely.
Oh, they will, though. It's coming.
Yeah. Well, no, they won't make it back because we're
not if we have anything to say about it.
Yeah, we'll take Joe Rogan's audience,
and we're doing it for free.
We're gunning for that bald guy. We'll get him one day. But for real, thank you, everyone. It means the world. You guys are fantastic.
Yeah, it really does.
Yeah,
it really does. The support was incredible. So, Heaven's Gate. How much do you guys know? I asked this at the start of every episode just to kind of get discussions going. How much do you guys know about Heaven's Gate?
I know pretty much everything about, but not anything leading up to it. Oh, sorry, I can't use that word on YouTube. I know everything about the shedding of the mortal coil moments, but nothing leading up to it.
The unaliving. I think unaliving is fine. I think that's what I'm gonna refer to it as.
I'm like Charlie. I'm familiar with this with the self lifting to a higher plane, as they would probably call it.
Yeah.
I'm familiar with that. And like the weird things they did around it, like the clothing, the apple seed, stuff like that. I'm also vaguely familiar with their doctrine. Like, I know they were a doomsday cult. I know they took a lot of inspiration from Revelations. I know that they thought there was like a sort of last chance for followers to get to heaven, so to speak, hence why they go by Heaven's Gate. So I understand how their doctrine led up to that, but I'm not familiar with the actual foundation of the cult itself.
So let's start with Marshall, right? Marshall Herf Applewhite. He was one of the main. He was the main instigator of the cult.
Which, for one, like from the jump, that is an incredible cult leader name. Like he was kind of predestined for it. Marshall Applegate or Applewhite, like that's insane.
Applewhite, yeah. it's a very like noble sounding name, like as a gentleman or a scholar. He also briefly pursued a career as a professional singer, but did not make it to the big lead, sadly. So. That's unfortunate for him. Imagine the world that we would be living in if instead he was a world-renowned singer instead of a cult leader.
Well, I don't think he would have changed the world. He wasn't going to be the front man of the Beatles or anything. It's just we would have had 39 more people alive is all.
Well, no, they probably would have had a different cult, to be honest.
We're 5 minutes into the episode and Charlie's like, wouldn't have meant a damn thing. Don't need them people. He's been holding it back, talking about how much he hates this cult up until just then.
It sounds like he has a bone to pick with Apple. he doesn't believe in his singing skills.
Hey, call me crazy. I think he's a bad guy. I don't know. I don't like him.
His quote just then was, all that would have happened is 39 more people would be alive.
Well, okay, which would be great, but Jackson's phrasing it like the whole world would have changed if he was just a singer. Like,
well, no, but if he was like a popular singer.
I guess.
Okay, imagine this. If he was a popular singer, maybe the number would have been more than 39 because he would have had more of a spread.
Oh.
Did you ever consider that?
Wait, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
Look, all I'm saying is if right now Taylor Swift did that, it would be a lot bit more than 39, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That'd be huge.
Yeah.
So
in some ways, we're lucky that he didn't break it big as an actual singer.
Yeah, like Charlie thinks. Like I'm co-opting Charlie's statement. It's good that this happened to 39 people. I'm glad that it didn't happen to you.
That's definitely not what I'm saying.
No, that's what I'm pretty sure that's what I heard. I think that's
you formed your own thought off that now.
Look, on the record, you can quote him. Charlie said, "I'm glad 39 people died," and I agree with him. I'm with my friend on this one. So.
That is not a red thread opinion. Charlie's acting entirely on his own prerogative there. That is all him.
2 out of 3 podcast hosts agree. 39, cool number.
I like how, okay, so this is becoming a trend in the red thread now, constantly victimizing Charlie and putting words in his mouth.
That's fine. Someone's got to do it.
Look, they didn't kill him last time, so we're trying to see what can stick, right? Like, he made it from the last show.
I don't think Applewhite poses much of a threat anymore.
His ghost might still be lingering.
He met a woman, Bonnie Lou Nettles, at a mental institution. Basically, he was there for treatment for his depression and stuff like that. I'm not sure why Bonnie Nettles was there. She worked as a nurse, so that could potentially be it, but I didn't find any kind of concrete evidence.
Wait, she was
that.
a nurse and he was a patient there?
So he was a patient there, definitely. I couldn't find out information if Bonnie Lou Nettles was a nurse at the mental institution or if she was there as well. She did work as a nurse, but I'm not sure if she was a nurse at that institution.
Man, if she was, then that's a real Joker Harley Quinn moment right there.
Yeah.
That's insane.
That's what I was thinking as well. Like it seems like a really
not to equate 39 people's death to a DC comic,
Batman.
It is a Harley Quinn, a certified why so serious moment for sure.
How about we leave the pop culture references to Charlie, right? He's the expert at those. He can pull them out.
No, anyone's welcome to reference pop culture. It doesn't have to just be me.
We're switching.
This is just like Batman.
We're switching it up this time. We're switching it up this time. I'm making the pop culture references. He's saying he's glad all these people died. So that's what's happening.
Yeah, we're taking different sides.
Yeah, just trying out, playing the field a bit.
I'll be the perfect middleman that disagrees with both of those statements and comes out completely clean.
Not to get too far ahead of the conversation in the class, but reading about how they believed they were the two in the biblical prophecy, which sounds like something out of Star Wars with like the Jedi stuff.
The rule of
balance
two
from the Sith.
Yeah.
there can only be two.
There's always two.
I don't have a
Hey,
answer
Charlie
for you,
brought
I'm
it back to
afraid.
pop culture references. I'm so proud.
Yeah, we're back,
We did it.
baby.
Yeah, we're so back.
It's magical. Do you even realize you're doing it most of the time, or is it just kind of a nervous tick?
I don't know. I see things like the two, and my mind immediately goes to, damn, that's just like Darth Bane. This is so pathetic. It's so
it's
weird.
his brain on default mode. Oh, Star Wars. Yes, I'm familiar. I know exactly what happened here.
I do get the need to I do get the need or drive to like relate things to things that are more easily digestible, though I think it does make it it definitely makes the episodes funnier, if that helps.
I can't blame Charlie for anything. When you were talking about the two of them standing outside looking at UFOs wishing they could go away, that song Airplanes was in my head. You know,
oh, what a banger though! That song goes hard.
Airplanes, like her looking up the hoping UFOs take her away. That went through my head, but I ate it. I was like, "Don't say that on the podcast. That's gonna sound so stupid." So I'm glad.
They'll
you
bully
did.
me for it.
Yeah, I'm glad you did.
Basically portrayed one another as having greater importance than what they actually had. They fed into those delusions. Their conversations evolved into a deep and bizarre bond very quickly as they became convinced that they were the two. That's in quotation marks, they called themselves the two, that were foretold in biblical prophecy, chosen by extraterrestrial beings or higher powers. So it immediately goes from 0 to 100, basically. There's no kind of gradual build up here. Because they feed into each other with their delusions, they immediately go to, we are biblical figures, prophesized by the Bible, basically friends with Jesus Christ, and we will save we will save humanity.
Me and the boys hyping each other up. Just like, we're those guys. We're the guys. Yeah.
We're them.
We're so them.
They began to cohabit with each other pretty much immediately as well. And I also have the note here that it's important to specify that their relationship was not a sexual one. There is evidence that it was entirely platonic, deeply loving, but not sexual. So it was kind of like an asexual partnership in that they were like life partners, but without the sexual
They'd
element.
have long romantic evenings and then climb into bed and stare at each other. For hours.
Which I don't know if it's I don't know if it was an attempt to shed the sexual elements of life, because especially in Applewhite's case, nothing good had come from that in the past.
Yeah.
Or if they just didn't have the attraction to one another, or if they just found each other spiritually rewarding on a different level. I'm not sure.
Hey man, when
All
you're
I
the
know is
guy,
they didn't bang.
When you're that guy, you don't need it anymore.
Yeah, at that point, they just
when you're
look at
Jesus,
they just look at each other and they can just feel it in their brains. It's like some kind of interdimensional sexual experience through the cosmos.
do you think it was actually that? Like it was just sex
100%.
had no need because they were like mentally orgasming?
Yeah, 100%. That's not even exclusive to just them. There's people that like actually believe the like imagination is more erotic and fulfilling than physical. So I definitely think so.
There is an interesting note here from psychiatrist Robert J. Lifton, who speculates that Nettles, Bonnie Nettles' influence kept Marshall's delusions in check. He thinks that Marshall's delusions could have got much worse, much quicker if it weren't for Nettles' influence, Bonnie Nettles' influence. I tend to disagree. I think that because they were
you as the expert psychiatrist disputing the other psychiatrist.
Well, no, there is another like expert that disagrees as well. There's debate in the community. I'm just saying I tend to agree with the other perspective.
I just like the
where
idea that we're
Yeah.
2 episodes in. It's like, well, actually, I have
Already-
more authority than the psychiatrist. I know
Hey,
more about
already
this.
disagreeing
we're right
with them,
behind
yeah.
Joe Rogan, bro. Is that psychiatrist?
That's true.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, come on, we can make up our own facts now.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
true.
That's what the
You're
top
right.
spot. That's what the top spot means. We choose what history is. They created a venture called the No Place, which is no as in like knowing, like knowledge, like KNOW, not like not NO. So this was like a kind of classroom based thing where they would teach things about theosophy and mysticism, like I said before.
Bro,
It was a road trip
it's
they were
so
doing.
funny to imagine like a Sunday school kid like going to like, oh, I'm going to go to the Christian Arts Center. And it's like fortune telling and seances and all.
Yeah. Well, but imagine
UFOs.
that.
Yeah.
Imagine that though. If you were that, like, I don't know, 6-year-old kid going to the Christian Arts Center to learn about God and faith and stuff like that, and then you get to meet Jesus himself. He's right there.
True. Yeah, Marshall was there. You got to meet the
he
man.
says,
We are
Marshall
the two.
comes out and says, "Yeah, that would have blown my mind. That would have been incredible, but also scary."
I have a vivid memory of when I was 9 or 10 years old. I was at a Bible conference, and there was a guy there who like who did have like schizophrenia and some other stuff, I believe. But in the middle of the conference, he just randomly started yelling and shouting and ripping his clothes off, saying he was possessed and like that he felt demons in him or whatever. That was a wild. I remember that so vividly. It was a terrifying experience. But yeah, like. And so that was like one guy, and immediately people ushered him out. Or like, "Are you okay?" They called an ambulance and everything. But imagining that guy being the leader of the room,
Right.
oh my gosh!
Yeah.
Would there be a different kind of like dynamic there that people would be more if he was the leader, if he was the
Well,
leader of this
I'd like to.
congregation?
Well, like the people who were there were like guys in business, politicians, like respected guys with like good heads on their shoulders. So I'd like to think that an individual like that couldn't be leader there. But historically, there have been times where delusional people, I mean, we're looking at one right now, have become leaders of other groups. It's
just to confirm, you're talking about Applewhite and not Charlie, right?
I don't know, man. Like, but yeah, like
Because you had that experience in what I would assume is at most the late 90s, probably early 2000s.
bro, do you know how old do you think I am?
I don't know. I think you're my age, right? Like 20, 25?
Okay, yeah, I'm 24. So it was when I was 10. It was Charlie.
Yeah, Charlie's so old.
I'm old.
Did you just hurt your knees, Grandpa? Did you-
Yeah,
It's okay, Grandpa. Go
I did a
back
big
to
pog
bed.
face and my jaw hurts now.
No, like we make fun of him for the pop culture stuff, but it's really like your grandpa who's like, I remember that from the 40s.
It really is that.
That's good, Grandpa. Go back to bed now.
I remember when they invented chocolate.
Bonnie Nettles writes to Terry Nettles, her daughter, and I think this is an interesting quote because it kind of puts into perspective.
Can I read it? Because
Yeah, go for
just
it.
because like you did so much, I can do something. I can I can read a portion.
you can read.
Okay, cool.
Please go ahead.
So Bonnie's daughter said, "Dearest Terry, we have finally come out." Wait, this is the daughter writing, correct? Or is this the mother?
No, it's the mother.
I
writing to the
already
daughter.
goofed it up.
It's fine.
It's the mother. Dang it! Stupid. No. Okay. So this is the mother. I just started hitting my head on the keyboard.
Just you leave.
Idiot!
Get up and
Like,
leave.
this is the mother writing to the daughter. Okay.
So then she's converted. Does she just travel with them now? Just tag along like a new party member in Final Fantasy? Like, how does it work exactly?
There we go again.
Yes, the references.
You literally gotta. You need to go get checked for like a tick or something. They basically continued what they had been doing. They created a pamphlet that described Jesus's reincarnation as a Texan man.
Which he was,
which-
damn it. Jesus was born on American soil.
He was blonde haired,
susceptible.
blue eyed like me.
Jesus loved a nice big fucking Ford pickup truck and Budweiser.
Jesus who wears a fucking belt with it's just a Texas state on it.
He's got spurs on. He's like Lone Star State for life.
He wears snakeskin boots, listens to Jason Aldean. Like, there's a church somewhere with that painting hanging on the wall. Like,
there has to be.
Absolutely.
Jesus,
the
American,
Westboro Baptist depiction of Jesus. Him describing himself as Christ, but also one of the two prophets, doesn't make sense, even in his own realm of delusion. But
right, yeah.
He's inconsistent in his inconsistencies.
We'll have to get a Ouija board out and tell him.
Yeah. That would be so mean.
Tune in for the next episode of The Red Thread.
we
every fourth episode we contact all the people we talk about.
Just to insult them.
We'll summon Marshall Applewhite at 3 a.m.
What if you do that though, Charlie, and he makes a very convincing argument, and then you've just brought Heaven's Gate back into the world?
Dude, that'd be fucking wild.
Yeah. Then it will be more than 39. Just you wait.
It's like maybe Jesus was Texan after all.
My God.
Dag nabbit, he's making a good point, son of a bitch.
And you have here that in 1975 they decided to cut contact with a lot of those people. Which makes sense. Yeah,
which makes this event more important because this one actually went out over satellite to everyone. This was a call to arms. Basically, they said, "Hey guys, big UFO party coming. It's coming down. We're going to the next level. You want to be here at Medicine Bow National Forest in Wyoming because you do not want to miss this trip, right? You got to be on this ship to get to the next level." So everyone come out. Everyone did come out. There was a lot of people. And then Bonnie Nettles came out and said, yeah, the aliens called up and they basically said that they've been delayed. They're in traffic. They're not going to show up. And they also incorporated a new naming system. I'm not sure if it was at this point or earlier, but they removed all semblances of identity from the individuals and all sex characteristics as well. So everyone had to have shaved heads or the same haircut, and no sex characteristics were able to be shown. The naming system was interesting. You would take two consonants. The first consonant would be capitalized, and then the second one, I think, would be doubled, and then you would add Odie on the end. So if I would take my name and remove all the vowels and stuff and take the first two consonants, I would be JCC Odie, which would be Jacody, and that's how everyone referred to themselves.
Wait, so you take fun game, kids. Figure out your Heaven's Gate cult name.
I'm actually really struggling here.
So hold on, say that again. You take your first name.
So take the first two consonants
of my name, of my first name.
Yeah.
Which for me is, my name's Isaiah, so it's all vowels, so it's SH. Okay.
Yeah. And then you double I think you doubled the second consonant, so it would be SHH.
Okay.
And then you add Odie.
So my name's Shakody.
Shody. Shody. Fucking fire. Mine's kind of cool too, so mine would be Chody. Awesome.
Chody.
Cool.
Bro, you're getting bullied out of the cult immediately.
That's awesome.
We are dogpiling you instantly. Yo, look at this guy, Chody. Look at
Can't even join a cult without getting bullied. Unlucky.
That is the worst,
bro. Shody and Chody. So here for the. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Oh man. All right, kids, you heard it in the comments.
Yeah, drop
those cult names.
So there's a quote here from Marshall Applewhite that was posted onto the website, I think shortly before the act was taken. Charlie, do you want to read it?
You can follow us, but you cannot stay here and follow us. You would have to follow quickly by also leaving this world before the conclusion of our leaving this atmosphere in preparation for its recycling.
Yeah. So he was still at the final moments, he was trying to convince the world to follow in his actions, which is weird because I thought the whole idea of the religion was that you had to undergo rigorous cleansing. You had to cleanse your spirit of all the things that held it back But now he's saying you can just do it. you don't need to follow any of the teachings. Just do what we did, and then
quick, get on, quick, get on the ship.
Bonnie's got so much room.
Do you think that the other cult members read that and were like, "What the fuck, dude?"
Wait, I got castrated for nothing? There's no, they have like every single Heaven's Gate tape is on YouTube, like all of their initiation ones and everything.
Interesting. Well, yeah, go watch it to just kind of see the level of brainwashing on effect, the level of delusion on effect.
Yeah, go watch a super depressing video of like mentally unwell people moments before they quote unquote elevate. That's a good weekend activity. Yeah.
It's a fun Christmas activity.
For the holiday season, gather around with the family by the fireplace.
Yeah, instead of watching Elf or National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, you can watch the Heaven's Gate tapes.
You get your grandma to turn on the Heaven's Gate exit statements. Oh my gosh.
What a Christmas.
Oh, I should try that.
What a holiday.
The year is 1967. It's a cold December evening, indeed the kind of cold you still feel deep in your bones, even from within the relative comfort of your car. You find yourself traveling across a bridge, a slender thread of steel spanning over the Ohio River below, connecting West Virginia and Ohio. Officially, it's called the Point Pleasant Bridge, but the locals call it the Silver Bridge. You've just left the office, your tired eyes straining against the setting sun. It's getting dark, but as you drive across the bridge, a sudden glimmer arrests your gaze. This time, it's not the glint from the silver paint that gives the bridge its name. You see a spectral figure perched on the bridge above with something almost resembling grace, its silhouette shackled by the winter sun setting behind it. Large ornate wings frame it, giving it an otherworldly visage. Its eyes, like twin embers, pierce your soul to the point of near hypnosis. They bring with them a local story from earlier in the year, it immediately surging into your mind as your eyes lock. The Mothman. You feel compelled to leave. Your heart, or at least what feels to be your heart, thrums a frantic rhythm as you push your car forward faster.
What feels to be your heart? What else would it be? Like Tony Stark?
Well, you're going to find out in a second. You're going to find out what this thrumming motion is. You know the story. Come on. Pushes your car forward faster, as fast as the pedal will allow. No sooner... I'm just laughing at what you just said. I didn't realize you brought Tony Stark into it.
You made a reference. There it goes. First one of the episode, boys.
It's just a wild thing to say, or at least what feels to be your heart. I know what you're getting at, but I just love that statement.
It was so funny how the moment Charlie said something, Jackson was like, "What? What?"
I knew it was coming. I just wanted to know what sentence it would be that triggered him. So, guys, how are you guys doing today?
Pretty good. I woke up a little groggy this morning. What felt like my brain had a bit of mist around it. And now I'm waking up a little bit and I'm getting excited because I know a lot about Mothman. Probably more about Mothman than I did Goatman, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm super familiar with Mothman. I watched a couple documentaries on him, actually.
Do one of you want to describe the Mothman? Give a description of the Mothman for the people at home, because I'll throw it up on screen as well, but I feel like words are probably good for a podcast.
Which depiction, though, because they do change based on eyewitness accounts. The most classic one is the one that the statue's made after, which you have a picture of in here. Mm-hmm. They kind of make him look like some kind of Power Rangers villain almost. He's giant steel. He's got red eyes, and he literally looks like something you would see out of a cartoon. So a lot of accounts have him look more haunting, kind of like almost Batman-esque in the night, and you can never really get a good view of him. But the one they put a statue up of is like the more, I guess I'd say more like jolly version of Mothman.
Like the hero version.
Where he looks like something to not really fear all that much.
You described that face as jolly.
I'd say it's kind of jolly. Yeah, he's got like inviting red eyes. There's the picture you have here has a dog on it, so it makes it even more inviting.
Yeah.
But like, he's not.
We're talking
scary.
about the
like,
statue, not the dog, Charlie. I don't know if you knew that.
Yeah, I just feel like this isn't like, as far as cryptids go, this isn't one you'd be afraid of. If you saw it, you'd be like, "Oh, that's a very interesting looking little guy." What a weird,
It's
what a weird thing.
contextual though. Like if I was in this like pleasant looking environment where the statue is, sure, and it was daytime, but you put that son of a bitch in the dark forest at night, and all you can see is his fucking abs peeking through the forest leaves and his bright red eyes. I'd be
That's another
terrified.
thing. Yeah, this one has the more humanoid shape to him, where it looks more like he's wearing a moth mask than an actual Mothman.
And of course, the statue that is in Point Pleasant is more exaggerated and hero-like, in my opinion. Like he is a Greek Adonis almost. He's got like a six-pack abs, giant pecs, like nice firm muscles and stuff like that. He's also
nice
got
butt,
like
a very good butt.
a nice thick butt. I made sure to include this. I'll put this on the screen. Hopefully YouTube doesn't have a problem with it, but I'll put it on screen. Yeah, they really rendered out his ass cheeks for everyone to enjoy.
I think that's a funny decision from the statue maker to be like, no, I know what I must do.
You gotta give him a good keister.
My wife grabbed it. That's the first thing she did when she saw the statue. So,
really?
I guess it attracts people like a moth to the flame, so to speak.
That's another thing that I think differs Mothman from actual moths. I don't believe moths have asses like that. So.
I don't think they do.
Yeah, I think you're right as well. As far as anatomy
I
goes,
haven't
you nailed
inspected a moth lately, but I'm pretty sure.
Imagine if they were flying around caked up, just fucking butt cheeks in the air. That'd be great. Yeah, but so that's essentially what Mothman looks like. He's like a humanoid, furry, winged thing that flies through the air. Yeah, I'm not like trying to insinuate good old Kenneth Duncan here was being nefarious in his reporting or anything like that. Maybe he truly believed that he saw the same thing that was then reported by other people later on in the
you
week.
might be too afraid to, but I'll call him a liar to his face. I think Kenneth Duncan made that shit up, and he's a clout chaser trying to capitalize off Mothman.
Hey, he'll dig a grave for you next. Be careful.
Yeah,
that's true.
That's true. What happened to his father-in-law? We don't know, but he was digging that grave for some reason, right?
Yeah,
we'll have to get Jackson on that case.
His father-in-law's last words were, "I don't believe in Mothman."
How Mothman was used to cover up a murder.
And then they went back to the Mason County Sheriff's Office and reported the encounter to the Deputy Millard Halstead, who then returned to the TNT area with the group, but noted nothing unusual except for a strange static sound coming from the radios, as well as some strange shadows and an unexplained dust cloud. I'm not sure what the dust cloud means.
It's like Jeepers Creepers.
Why the fuck would he note a dust cloud?
He was just being thorough. He also, made note that a couple of the trees had their bark torn off or something like really trivial. He's painting a picture.
It's the best investigator Point Pleasant ever saw.
I mean, he is.
It would be funny though if it was like a comedic like Tasmanian devil dust cloud like right next to them, and he's like, "That's suspicious." Anyway, let's move on.
A woman named Marcella Bennett, who's 26, and her young daughter drove to a friend's house near the TNT area close to Point Pleasant. While en route, she observed a peculiar funny red light hovering over the TNT area, distinct from an airplane. Upon arrival, as Bennett stepped out of the car with her daughter, a figure near her vehicle caught her attention. She said, "It seemed as though it was laying down. It rose up slowly from the ground, a big grey thing, bigger than a man with terrible glowing eyes." There's those eyes again, the redder than red eyes.
Redder than red.
Yep. Overwhelmed with terror, she accidentally dropped her baby. Quickly recovered. Maybe that's what the prophecy that the warning that Mothman was trying to teach her at that moment. Don't drop your baby.
Why do the worst people run into Mothman?
like throws the baby at Mothman.
Quick, take it.
I also love how that's just an element of the story. It's one of the most defining parts. Yeah.
If this story is fake, why would she add the detail that she dropped her baby? That is the worst thing.
True, that just makes her seem like a bad parent. You're right.
This seems like a point of honesty, I think.
It's the same reason why people say, well, I actually went there to prove that it's all fake, even though it's a story they're making up. It's supposed to make it seem more credible. So her, putting in this detail about dropping her baby, it's like, oh, why she would never put that in there unless it was true. Even though
Alternatively, she dropped her baby accidentally, and then she had to make up this entire excuse about Mothman being the thing to cause it to rationalize dropping her baby.
That's pretty funny. You drop your kid in the parking lot, you're like, oh man, there's this like moth demon out there. So sorry.
Damn you, Mothman.
Making women drop their babies. He's a real sick moth.
In December 15th of 1967, that's when the Silver Bridge, which connected Point Pleasant to Gallipolis, Ohio.
That's where Superman lives. Isn't it?
No, that's Metropolis.
Yeah.
Well, that's where Mothman lives. Gallipolis.
Gallipolis, yeah.
Gallipolis, Ohio, yeah.
Does that place still exist?
Yeah, it's still there.
No,
well, Mothman didn't kill it.
Probably sunk into the sea or something. So they were saying that this is what Mothman does. He's like this harbinger of bad omens, and all of these things that are going wrong in the town are him. The bridge collapsing, it's him. He brought upon this calamity, and then the sightings started to slow down.
Yep.
So we're starting to get into how Mothman became a legend.
Wait, maybe he was just extremely unlucky and he was nesting on the bridge as it collapsed. And then he died from the collapse, and that's why we've never seen him again.
Yeah, he was real all the way up until that point. And the bridge collapse took him out.
Maybe he wasn't he wasn't the prophet of bad omens or anything. Maybe he was just really fucking unlucky. Like, he got hit by the other people's car and then rocks were thrown at him. And then everywhere he goes, no one wants him around. He nests on a bridge far out of town and then it collapses on him.
Existed, and he died in a freak bridge accident. Completely unrelated.
I don't know if you have it in your document. I didn't see it, Jackson, but do you have like the Genesis story of Mothman, like some of the mythos around him on like what he is and how he was made?
I have a few theories. It's probably down in the theories area where like he was an escaped government experiment and stuff like that.
That's the one I was going to get to. Imagine that's the real one. So one of the theories is that he was an escaped government experiment during World War II from that munitions manufacturing site. So they thought he was the result of a biological or chemical experiment in the abandoned facilities. So he'd be like this fucked up creature that had been tortured by the government, finally gets free after the war, and then dies in a bridge collapse after getting hit with rocks. What a fucking life.
He's trying to beat people, trying to ask for help, and they're throwing rocks at him and running him over with their cars.
He's just welcoming them to the only home he ever knew at the TNT area, and people just start shouting and screaming and hitting him with this car.
So he has to nest up in the fucking bridge and it collapses. Oh my god. Alright, Mothman is now the saddest cryptid.
Oh my god.
It's so fucking, it's such a sad thought. Like, I don't subscribe to the belief that he was some kind of a government experiment, but goddamn, if he was, what an awful life he had.
What are the chances of a bridge just collapsing on like a normal bridge? It's got to be like 1 in a million, right? That a bridge just falls apart, and he's like, I guess no one will be mad at me up here.
Yeah, like, it fucking collapses. Oh probably the first day he nested there as well.